Aloha everybody and welcome to the first extra video of Sonic Mania, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be playing with Knuckles the Echidna here as I go into these checkpoint special stages, aka Blue Sphere, and I get all of the gold medals in the game. So in order to get all the gold medals, I have to collect every single ring that's in one of these special stages, and it's very easy to screw that up, by the way. I never often got perfects in Sonic 3 and Knuckles because all I was gunning for was the Chaos Emerald, and getting a perfect usually just gave you like a continue. You know, there was no benefit to getting perfects, and technically there's not really a benefit to getting them in Sonic Mania either, because if you get all of the medals as silver, you still get all of the unlockables regardless, and everything's hunky-dory, but I get a PlayStation 4 trophy if I get them all gold, and I want to show how dominant I am. I am the Great Clement. I must get everything. I must show how big my penis is. So, here we are going for the gold medals. I'm playing as Knuckles for all of these, mainly because I like playing Blue Sphere with Knuckles. It's not like there's any real difference with the characters, really. It's just that Knuckles is red, and Sonic is blue, and I find it a little bit harder to track where I am in relation to the blue spheres and red spheres if I'm playing as Sonic, and I like playing as Knuckles. I don't know, it's just this weird thing I've always had, where if I have to play blue sphere, I'd rather play it with Knuckles. Strange, I know, but we gotta give our main man from Angel Island something to do, so why not have him go for the gold medals? He is the treasure hunter, after all. He gets all those medals perfectly. Ha 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 ha. And you guys basically know the whole gist of Blue Sphere. If you, like, circle a whole box of blue spheres, they destroy all the blue spheres that are in the middle and turn them into rings. Yada yada yada. I covered this in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. In fact, the special stages you're seeing right now are actually from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. We're doing 32 of these things, but at least, like, 14 of them are back from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, the Chaos and Super Emerald stages that were in that game. So, we do see a little bit of repeat here, but there are some new maps that I'm going to be doing. And, it's going to be repetitive, me just talking over the same thing over and over again. So, earlier in the week, I asked a whole bunch of people watching these videos to send in questions, so I could answer Sonic-related questions, and we could just make this a bit of a discussion video while you watch me get all the gold medals. Huh? I think that'd be fun. I think that'd be keen. So I've written down the questions here, and now I'm going to answer them for you. Okay, so first up, Jonathan Childers. He asks, what are your thoughts on an open-world Sonic game similar to Super Mario Odyssey? That would be tricky. It's weird. I have been pining for that kind of game for a while now, because I've mentioned this before. With Sonic Lost World, they had this Hyrule DLC, like this Legend of Zelda DLC. And the first thing that happens in that DLC is that you're in Hyrule Field, and Sonic gets to go all over the map to find, like, treasure chests here, rupees here, like, all these different things in all these different directions. And I thought that was pretty interesting and fun with the Lost World control scheme. I recently just did LEGO Sonic Dimensions, and LEGO Sonic has a hub world that's actually pretty fun to run around in as Sonic, and it's a big open space where you can go wherever you want, and that's really interesting to me, to the point where I kind of want to see a main Sonic game actually tackle that kind of thing, even if I am suffering from open world fatigue and don't necessarily love the concept if it's done wrong. So it's weird. I feel very conflicted about it. I don't know what Sonic would be doing, running around the world, going to different places. It feels like it'd be like a weird Grand Theft Auto, Assassin's Creed, I don't know, Dragon Age kind of thing, where what's he doing? Is he accepting quests and then doing side quests as he runs around the map or something? I don't know what that would be. I don't know what that would entail, but obviously you should tune into you should, like, fine-tune the exploration aspect and make him find Chaos Emeralds and stuff or something. I don't know, but it's just fun to have Sonic running around a giant world so you can just have fun. It feels like playing Spider-Man, you know? It feels like playing Spider-Man and just swinging around the city and doing fun stuff, so I don't know. It would be fun. I just don't know how well it would be pulled off, but that would be cool. I would like that. Number 2, Double Focus. What are your current thoughts on the upcoming Sonic movie? The upcoming Sonic movie. Well, I'll say this. When the trailer came out that finally showed footage for it, I remember I said, oh my god, like a million times as the trailer was going through. Like, I was watching it and I was going, oh my god. Another scene happens. Oh my god. Another scene happens. Oh my god. I mean, from the beginning, I already knew it was going to be nothing like the games. We knew from the beginning, even before we saw footage, that it was going to be a live-action cartoon hybrid, so there was going to be humans in it. We knew it was going to take place in the township of Green Hills. We knew that Jim Carrey was going to be Dr. Robotnik, and I'm just like, oh boy, oh boy. Sonic and his plucky adventures with Cyclops from the X-Men. And, you know, I never expected it to be great. I've always expected it to be like the Smurfs. I have always expected it to be like the Smurfs movie. And I guess some people like the Smurfs movie. I don't. I think it's bad, and I think it's just lame. But hey, I'd like to be pleasantly surprised. I'd like to be pleasantly surprised. And even the design of Sonic, that didn't surprise me either. This is a Hollywood movie. Hollywood Sonic not looking like regular Sonic, that was expected. That was so expected. I mean, have you seen, like, the Woody Woodpecker movie and stuff? Oh my god, no. No. Just look at Will Smith's Genie in the new Aladdin movie, you know? They often do things that is so different from the source material. It's like, I'm gonna be watching it, because of course I am. I don't expect it to be good. If I am pleasantly surprised, awesome. But I am expecting Smurfs, but with Sonic. That's basically how I feel about it. Sega Sister! Now, I happen to like the Sonic Storybook sub-series. If a third installment came out, what legend or mythology would you like the game to be based off of? I don't know. I do not know. I feel like there's a lot of things you could do with Greek mythology. Like, Hercules, Zeus, all that stuff, maybe. Just go with, like, I don't know, gods and stuff, like God of War kind of weirdness. But then that's even pretty weird for Sonic, so I don't know. I really don't know what you do with a third storybook series. I would have to think about, like, all the various anthologies and storybook, you know, compilations that are out there. But I wouldn't be opposed to the idea of doing another Sonic storybook game. I think that would be a pretty interesting idea if they ever decide to do that again, but probably not. The way fans react over something like Sonic and the Black Knight, which is an underrated game, by the way, I don't think Sega's interested in pursuing that anymore, so yeah. Frozen Fairy asks, when you first started the Sonic retrospective, how long did you think it would take you to play through all the games and get caught up? What was your guess close to how long it actually took? I didn't expect it to be this long, no. But at the same time, I didn't put much thought into how long it would take. You gotta remember, when I started the Sonic retrospective, it was 2010. And at the time, the newest game in the series was Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. We didn't have Sonic 4, we didn't have Sonic Colors, we didn't have Roger Craig Smith, actually. We didn't have Roger Craig Smith as Sonic yet when I started this retrospective. So technically, I've been doing this retrospective pretty much as long as Roger Craig Smith has been Sonic, so that's kind of an interesting way to look at it. You know, I thought the series would slow down as things were getting more expensive. I thought that Sonic has been around a long time. I felt like it was going to slow down a little bit, because sometimes it happened with game series, and it didn't. There were still plenty of games in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. I would be caught up if we were just getting to Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, but even then, I greatly underestimated how long it would take to record footage for all of these long games, and me getting S ranks for all of them, and showing off alternate endings and stuff, and it's not like Mega Man. I think the reason it was so easy to blow through Mega Man was because Mega Man are always short games. Even on the PlayStation 2, they are short games, because it's always the same formula of 8 bosses, and then a few, like, 4 stages of, like, castle or something. You know, just 8 stages with, like, a few extra final levels. That's it. Mega Man has never been interested in being, like, long, epic, just, like, drawn-out series. They always just have small things. And Sonic... well, Sonic Unleashed is like a 30-part playthrough. And that went on for quite a bit. And then I'm doing like multiple versions of the same games. The Sonic Lost World, you know, the console version is different from the 3DS version. And if I do them both at the same time, that's a lot of playthrough to do. And yeah. Either way, I expected it to be done, I don't know, 2015? Nope. But it's kind of beautiful that it worked out this way, because February 2010 is when I started this whole thing. I'm going to have this done before February 2020, and that's going to be like the 10-year anniversary, and that feels kind of poetic. That feels kind of poetic. So I guess that's a thing. Rocky and Yipper asks, how do you feel about Sega bringing back Classic Sonic, Green Hill, and Chemical Plant in pretty much every game since Generations? I don't like it. It destroys how special these moments feel. Sonic Forces is another example where I kind of went, oh. Like, I'm playing Sonic Forces, and it's like, Green Hill, again. Chemical Plant, again. A Metal Sonic fight with the Stardust Speedway theme, again. And it's just, it's not special anymore. It feels like we're just going through the motions. It feels like we're just spinning our wheels when they could be doing interesting, new, creative things. You know, I want to see them do interesting, new, creative things that, like they did with Metal Sonic and Sonic Heroes. You know, you do something interesting to reinvent that character. Do something interesting to bring him back. Or, you know, don't use him. Don't use Metal Sonic in every single game, because he's been played to death, and I liked him more in the old days when he was a special occasion. Metal Sonic used to be a special occasion. Now it's pretty much guaranteed he's always going to be in one of these games. You know? It's like he's always here. He never goes away. It's like, yeah. But I would be happy with Green Hill and Chemical Plant disappearing for a bit. Not to say you can't have, like, alternate Green Hill types. Splash Hill I had no problem with, you know. Neo Green Hill from Sonic Advance I didn't really have a problem with. Just stop using the actual specific Green Hill. That's all. That's all. Disappointed Jetstream Sam asks, what are your personal favorite and least favorite Sonic cartoons, and why? My personal favorite Sonic cartoon is Sonic Boom, because it's really, really funny, and it's easy to go back to and just, like, have fun with. My least favorite Sonic cartoon, debatable, because some people would say, oh, it's Sonic X, definitely. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Sonic X is closer to the games. Sonic X has a lot of fun character moments. I'm actually going to say Sonic Underground. Even though there was a lot of effort put into that show because of the songs and stuff. Every episode has like 2 theme songs that they wrote for the episodes. That's pretty intense, but it's about Sonic and his brother Manic and his sister Sonia, who are all voiced by Jaleel White, by the way. And they have to find their mother, who has disappeared. And it's basically just a kind of retelling of the Sonic Sat AM plotline, except instead of freedom fighters, and instead of having like Antoine and Sally and all those characters, now it's just like, oh, it's just Sonic and his you know, his family looking for their mom. That's it. And now they have these bad henchmen with, like, Dingo, the bounty hunter, and stuff, and The animation was cheaper than Sonic Sat AM. It was kind of redundant. It wasn't that funny. It's the show I would most tell people to skip out on. That being said, I own all of Sonic Underground on DVD. And, that's true. I own Sonic Underground on DVD. And that's probably the worst cartoon. I would take Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog over that, because at least that show's even funnier. I think it's way funnier than Sonic Underground. I'm over there. I always love Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog because there is a Sonic Says segment where Scratch and Grounder are, like, drinking booze. Because it's supposed to be like a PSA telling kids not to drink alcohol when they're too young. And so, like, Scratch and Grounder are all drunk on the cartoon, and they're telling, like, tales. Try it, kid! Hey, dumb Bob, give me that booze! It's amazing. It's amazing. Actually, coming into this topic I was just talking about, Crazy Straws asks, will you ever do an in-depth look at the Sonic Boom TV show, Mania Adventures, or other Sonic media unrelated to the games? I would like to. I feel like that's something I could pursue after the Sonic retrospective is caught up. Maybe I could look at the TV shows and the movies and stuff like that. The only problem is video games are easier to take footage from compared to like television shows and movies, because there's a whole bunch of like distributors who are hanging on to that stuff, and it's a little different from video games where I am controlling what the character does. I am creating that custom character. I am doing something interesting with the gameplay. The whole point of video games is that you're playing them. People want to play the game. Watching someone swing around New York as Spider-Man is not quite the same thing as swinging around New York as Spider-Man yourself. So, people don't... It seems like video game companies are actually fine with Let's Plays being out there, but TV shows, movies, no. If you're showing lots of clips from their movie and dissecting their movie, they tend to get on your case about that. It's fair use. Yes, it is, and they still manage to throw copyright strikes on it, and they still try to get your channel into trouble if you upload stuff like that, and it's a little risky. It's a little risky. Even, like, 90s cartoons like Sonic. Like, even if I'm just showing clips from Sonic's at AM, I'm sure there's a distributor out there. I'm sure Deke is still around, right? Deke. That's the name of their company. Deke. It's Deke. D-I-C. Deke. I don't know. I would like to, it's just, you know, I've had things like WrestleGamia be taken down by WWE, and, you know, sometimes it's just not viable, but we'll see. We'll see what I can get away with in the future, if I want to try doing that in the future, but, yeah, I'm sure I have a lot to say about the cartoons. I would love to dissect Sonic X and dissect Sonic Underground and inform people of all the stuff that go on in those cartoons. Plus, it'd be just good for, like, a refresher. I haven't seen a lot of those cartoons in a while, so that would be interesting. That would be interesting. Blue Blur 2000 asks, do you think that Sega should change the current writers for the Sonic series, or are you happy with their work? I think they should change priorities on making the stories a little more interesting. And right now, they don't seem to be very interested in that. You know, I think the most disappointment that came from Sonic Forces, which we'll cover in the Let's Play when we get to it, but the writing is done by the same people who did colors and stuff, and I think Eggman's PAs and colors are the funniest thing ever. I think the comedy in that, I think some of the little character moments in Sonic Lost World are fantastic, and, like, I don't hate these writers with a furious passion like other people do, but we've certainly strayed away from, like, the seriousness of something like a Sonic and the Black Knight or Sonic Adventure 2 or something. There's a little bit of, I don't know, depth that's missing nowadays. And when they tried to tackle a plot line where Eggman was no longer comedic, where he conquered 99% of the world, and 80% of people's forces were getting shot up and killed by infinites, you know, we entered a little bit darker subject material with Sonic Forces, and even then, it wasn't as satisfying as it could have been. It wasn't as satisfying. There was so much they could do with that concept. You know, why have Silver come back from the future if he doesn't do anything? He's supposed to change the past, because if he doesn't change the past, he's just going to see the same future that he lived in. Like, whatever. I would be up... Again, I think the writers should be switched out for one reason. You know, with Sonic Mania, we've shown that, like, fans of Sonic who make Sonic fan games have done great with the gameplay of Sonic. Why don't we get, like, Ian Flynn writing Sonic? He's the writer for the comic book series, you know, Archie, IDW, and stuff. Why don't we get Ian Flynn in? Because I feel like he has a great idea how to expand these characters and how to make them feel deep and realized without, like, betraying what their characters are all about. And I feel like Ian Flynn gets it, and if we're going to get anyone doing the writing for these games, get Ian Flynn in there, man. I mean, I feel like there would still be, like, Sega interference, like how much they could do cutscene-wise, budget-wise. I feel like it wouldn't be a simple, easy step as, oh, Ian Flynn will fix it. Because there's still a lot of things to keep in consideration, but I would want Ian Flynn. I don't necessarily hate the current writers, Pontac and Graf. Names that have gotten a lot of dirty looks from Sonic fans, but I don't necessarily hate them the way some people do. But I think there could be a good change. I feel like, you know, when you get like Aaron Weber and Ian Flynn and stuff actually writing for Sonic, It can come up with some pretty interesting stuff, pretty cool stuff that Sonic fans appreciate. So why not? Why not, I say. Okay, Crimson King 12,000 asks, say that we lived in an impossible world where the next 3D Sonic was guaranteed to be of impeccable quality. Purely for your own enjoyment, which playstyle would you rather the game be in, Adventure or Boost? Adventure. Only because we've done Boost so much at this point, and they screwed it up so badly with Forces. And I think easily it's more limited than the Adventure formula. The Boost formula, you ever notice how almost all of the Sonic boss fights in the Boost formula are runner bosses? Where, like, you're chasing Shadow, you're chasing Silver, you're chasing the Egg Beetle, you're chasing the Egg Manta Ray, or you're chasing friggin'... What did you chase in Forces? Oh, you chased Metal Sonic, you chased Infinite. You know, it's like every boss is like the same when you keep using this formula, and it makes these boss fights feel kind of boring because you're just doing the same thing every single game. Whereas at least with the adventure games, there's 3D movement, there's platforming, there's homing attacking to get to higher platforms and stuff, and you're not constantly running all the freaking time. And level design-wise, it'd be interesting to go back to that, but, like, knowing the mistakes of the past, and I feel like the fans are hankering for it. We're missing it, you know? We're all missing Sonic Adventure. We're missing at least that kind of control scheme. And so, yeah, if I had to choose one right now, currently in 2019, Adventure. I think Boost could take a break for a bit. Jordan Tellis asks, if a bad Sonic game was getting a remake that fixed all its problems and became a great game, what game would you choose? Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood. That is a game that... I want a good Sonic RPG, you know? I want a good Sonic RPG, and we don't... I think that concept has been abandoned ever since BioWare screwed the pooch with Sonic Chronicles, and that's a game that had a lot of potential. That had a game with, like, the potential for good writing. If you want to talk about depth and complexity in the characters and stuff, I thought they did some pretty fun stuff with Amy in Sonic Chronicles. I thought that, you know, some of the things they were writing was pretty interesting in that game, and, you know, you get a good battle system in there that's actually good for kids, that's as fast as Sonic usually is, like a fast-paced RPG battle system, and you got like a winning formula that, like, could rival the Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga series. Or it's not technically the Superstar Saga series, it's the Mario and Luigi series, but whatever. I want good Sonic RPGs, and shit, you know, if we could redo Sonic Chronicles to have not a cliffhanger ending, or at least extrapolate on that ending, let's beat Eggman at the end, how about that? And a good battle system, and a good level-up system, and no stupid QTE movements in the battles. Like, let's just have Sonic a battle, let's just have a Sonic RPG that's good, you know? That's all I want. I want a good Sonic RPG, god damn it. Nathan Corneliuson asks, so Clement, I've watched your videos in general over the years, and I know you have consumed a lot of Sonic Mania over the years besides video games. Which is your absolute favorite, be it the TV shows, advertisements, comics, or even just merchandise? An explanation as to why would be greatly appreciated. The Sonic OVA, the 1999 anime Sonic animated movie, is my favorite thing Sonic media related that's not the video games, because, oh my god, that cartoon is amazing. It's just got a good sense of humor, it's got great animation, it is the kind of, you know, story I want a Sonic game to be about, where Sonic is impatient and kind of a dick to the president and stuff, but at the same time he goes on thrilling adventures, running through the field and defeating badniks and facing off with Metal Sonic, where even Metal Sonic has a little more depth, where, you know, there's that sad moment at the end when Metal Sonic is falling into the lava and Sonic is actually feeling sympathy for this nameless, voiceless robot that tried to kill him the whole movie, you know? I thought that movie was really, really good. And it's really bizarre and weird as well. You know, it's got weird jokes where, like, Tails accidentally grabs Sarah's boobs, and then he's like, oh god, I'm so sorry! And Knuckles is like, I never thought you'd stoop that low! Or there was like that moment where Eggman thinks that, like, in the future that he's building, they'll need to repopulate, and Eggman's gonna, like, marry Sarah. And then he imagines them having a family, and we imagine, like, Sarah giving birth to all of Eggman's children, who all happen to be small, tiny Eggmen with mustaches. And one of them is, like, actually being breastfed by Sarah in the flashback. It's a very weird cartoon, but it's got quirky voice acting. It is so fun to watch, and I just love it to death. I could watch that a million times and never get bored of it. A million times, could never get bored of it. Scallopulton301 asks, what was your reaction when you first saw Sonic's original movie design, and are you glad they're giving him a redesign? It's what I expected. I said this before, it's what I expected from a Hollywood movie. At the same time, no, I wish they wouldn't change it. I wish they would stick to their guns and stay with it. I know what you're thinking, oh, Clement, why shouldn't the Sonic be better? It's live action. It's in Green Hills Township with Sheriff Cyclops. It doesn't matter what the design's going to look like. It's still not going to be what Sonic is about. He's not going to be collecting a whole bunch of rings and collecting Chaos Emeralds and special stage zones and stuff. It's going to be weird and different, and he's going to be like a weird alien or mutant baby, or I don't know what he's going to be, but it's not going to be Sonic. They may as well just stuck to their vision, because at least then I could go, yeah, that's the Sonic they stuck to. Instead, they're making animators do extra work because... what did they expect? Why did they agree to the original design in the first place if they were just going to change it later? I say no, you stick to it. If that's the Sonic you want to make, then you stick to it. You know, that Michael Bay-produced Turtles movie didn't change the design of the Turtles, and I thought the Turtles were way uglier than Sonic. They look like Shrek if Shrek did crystal meth. And maybe you guys like that movie, I don't know, but it wasn't for me. I don't like those turtle designs, personally. But hey, that's the way that particular movie ended up, and good on them for not changing it at the last minute. That's what I say, even if I don't like it. I'm a complicated guy. But, yeah, it's just, you know, it's something else. It's something else, let me tell you. Stowtab asks, what are your favorite Eggman boss fights, 2D or 3D? This is going to be a weird answer. Egg Dragoon from Sonic Unleashed has always been one of my favorites just for the voice acting and the atmosphere surrounding it. There's something about Sonic the Werehog battling Eggman in what at the time felt like a pretty ambitious... well, it was a pretty ambitious Sonic game. It was pretty intense. The storytelling was epic and all that, and you know, it just came off the heels of Sonic 06, and I didn't know where the future of Sonic was going to go after Sonic Unleashed, because for all I know, this game was going to sell badly, and it wasn't going to be well received, and then Sonic as a concept could die. And I just like the idea that, like, we're in Eggman Land, a place Eggman has been wanting to build for years. He's been hyping this up for years. And we're in Eggman Land, taking on Eggman, who is just losing his mind. He's getting crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier the more that he keeps losing to Sonic the Hedgehog. And the voice acting from Jason Griffith and Mike Pollock during that fight is so awesome. I love the idea that they're falling to the core of the earth. And, you know, Eggman he's getting his Eggmobile smashed apart by Sonic the Werehog. And, it was just... there's something about that whole atmosphere. It's not the hardest boss fight in the world. It's not the most exciting thing ever. I don't mind playing it, obviously, but I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot. UB06 Austin asks, if there was one character exclusive to the Archie comic book series that you could bring into the video games, which character would that be? This is gonna be weird. I actually think they could do with the AI robot girl Nicole. I don't know why. I feel like that would be an interesting inclusion, so that Tails has like a little helper to explain where the Chaos Emeralds are, or any of this stuff. I don't know. I feel like I could want Bunny Rabbit, because she's always been fun. I feel like right now Tangle and Whisper are awesome in the IDW comics, and I feel like they could be part of the games too, honestly. So I can't really choose just one. There's so many great characters in just the exclusive comics. I mean, kids grew up with Sally Acorn. Kids fucking love Sally Acorn. I think people would actually want Sally Acorn to come into the continuity. And there's another missed opportunity. Sonic Forces was like a freedom fighter like plot line where all the furries were rebelling against Eggman, who had conquered the world, that was like the perfect opportunity to be like, hey, we're making Rotor, Rotor the Walrus, Antoine, Bunny Rabbit, Sally Acorn, we're going to make all those characters canon. You know, that would have been like perfect opportunity, the perfect excuse for all of that to happen. And it didn't happen. So I don't know. There's a lot of characters. It's hard to choose just one. Susie Lynn asks, since the voice actors have changed, more characters have been introduced to the game series. Have you thought there are too many characters involved since they either end up as side characters, NPCs, or are they just there? What would be the character limit if you got to make a decision on that? Well, I do agree too many characters can make the game pretty bloated, and certainly there are a ridiculous amount of Sonic characters who I don't want coming back every single time. That's why I think they should make Metal Sonic come back very sparingly, because it just seems like they're giving too much attention away from him when, you know, there could be other Sonic characters to replace him or something. But I like how they feel right now with Sega. I think that Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and Eggman are like the guarantees. Maybe even Knuckles could take a break. You know, he should be on Angel Island guarding the Master Emerald. Even that could disappear. I don't know. Sonic Unleashed, Knuckles wasn't in it, and that had Sonic, Tails, Amy, and Eggman, and that was fine. I like that. And they introduced Chip for one game, and then Chip was gone for the rest of the series after that, and that's fine. Like, if you want to introduce guest characters, make them more like Tikal and Chip, and how Shadow was supposed to be originally, and just, they're one-offs, you know? We're not going to see Merlina, the character, again, from Sonic and the Black Knight, because that was her story, and she's gone, and we don't need to see her again. We don't need to see Princess Elise again, because she was in Sonic 06. Her story's over, she's gone, you know? We don't need to see a lot of these characters come back. Just have, like, the main four: Sonic, Tails, Amy, Eggman, and yeah, just have a few guest characters every now and then. And every now and then, when the stakes get bigger, like a Sonic Forces, bring in Shadow, bring in Rouge, bring in the Chaotix. Just if you ever need a reason to have a detective searching for something, then the Chaotix are perfect. If you ever need extra backup, because it's not going to be easy for just Sonic alone, then bring in Shadow. You know, just something like that. I don't know. But I'm fine with just the main four: Sonic, Tails, Amy, Eggman. That's it. I feel like that you should just stick with that every single game, and that's fine. Sound Effects 09 asks, greetings from Braves Country, Clement. Thank you for providing us with great Let's Play content throughout your time on YouTube. I bring forth a more serious question. With the Sonic series being so inconsistent lately, would it be wise for Sega to focus on some of the other franchises that they possess, like the Puyo Puyo series, which has recently had quite the renaissance the last couple of years with Puyo Puyo Tetris and Puyo Puyo Champions? Sure! I'm not running Sega, but I don't object to the idea that Sonic could take a break and other franchises could get more attention. I would love a new Jet Set Radio game. I would love a new Knights game. Someone would appreciate a new Echo the Dolphin game. I mean, they've already pumped out like 1 million Yakuza games by now, but yeah, if they want to take a break, by all means. I don't think Sonic is a franchise that is desperate and needs to have a game come out every single year. I'm pretty happy with what I've got, you know. Unfortunately, when it's been like 3 years since the last Sonic game, that's when Sega fans are going to be like, oh, Sega hates Sonic, they don't care about Sonic. Sonic has been treated like shit lately because they hadn't had a game in a while. At least that's what happened with Mega Man, but, you know. So sure, why not? Mr. DJ Walnut asks, would you ever considering covering fan content like the various Sonic or Mega Man fan game hacks out there? Probably not, honestly. I feel like with the Sonic retrospective, I have covered so much Sonic that it is a huge part of my channel. It is so... There's so much. I have done so many Sonic videos, and, you know, with Sonic fan game stuff, that feels like it comes out everywhere as well, you know? I feel like I couldn't even tell you all of the fan projects that are out there, because it feels like they keep making more and more and more every single day. I knew YouTubers who used to cover fan projects, like, all the time, and it was great to watch them do it, but it's not something I personally would really be interested in, just because it's never-ending. There's always going to be new mods for Sonic Mania. There's always going to be new mods for Generations. There's always going to be new fan games being pumped out, you know, and some of them are pretty interesting, like Sonic 2 XL, where every time you eat a ring, Sonic gets fatter and fatter, and it gets harder to move and stuff. That's funny. That's a good concept. Having Amy and stuff in Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and Knuckles is pretty fun. You know, Sonic Mega Mix, Sonic before the sequel, Sonic after the sequel. There's a lot of fun stuff out there, I agree. But I was only looking forward to covering the Sonic retrospective, like the actual Sega official titles. And there's just so much fan stuff out there, I feel like I'd be doing it forever and ever and ever, and I don't really want to make that commitment. I'm a little burned out on doing all of that, personally, so no plans. I realize I could easily coast with that material. I could play fan games every single day for 30 minutes for the rest of my life, and I'm sure I'd be set, but, I'm good. I'm good. Sorry if you wanted to see that. I'm just not personally into covering all of that. There's so much to cover if I did. Melody M asks, how do you feel about more Sonic games today being delayed? Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice, Team Sonic, Racing, etc. Good. A bad game is bad forever. A delayed game is eventually good. That's really all there is to it. Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice was great. Team Sonic Racing was great. I like both of those games, and both of them were delayed. So that's what I want. If you delay the game because it's not good enough, then awesome. That means you're thinking about and actually care about the quality of the games. And that's what I want the Sonic franchise to do, to care about the quality of the games. Lemon King asks, real quick, since this is going to be a super long one, can you sing the Sonic Underground theme, please? No. They made a vow their mother would be found. Sonic Underground! That's all. God, my throat. That's all I can do. I'm sorry. I have so much to cover. Kirona asks, do you ever feel ashamed to be a part of the Sonic fandom when you see how some of the more vocal and odd fans act? Not that you should be ashamed. I don't think you should be ashamed of liking Sonic. I still like Sonic regardless of its quality sometimes. Yeah, the fandom can be a bit much sometimes. It's weird, right? It's weird. Sometimes the Sonic fandom can be like, I can find their opinions and their cynicism so overbearing that it's like, this is still a kid's franchise about a hedgehog who runs around and eats chili dogs. Why are you taking this so seriously? Oh my god. Sometimes games are bad. Move on, you know? Sometimes a game is bad. It's not the end of the world. But, and you also get those weird ones who just, I don't even want to talk about. I don't even want to talk about the really weird ones, because what they're up to is just like, Hey, I see a lot of the Twitter accounts that follow me. Sometimes I glance at your profiles and, oh my god, you love Sonic porn, and, okay, it's not for me. Not for me. But, you know. Oh, Jesus, I don't know where I'm going with this. The point is, right now I'm not so bothered by Sonic fandom, because I feel like there's some fan bases that kind of drive me up the wall more, you know? I feel like I'm so glad I'm not a Pokemon fan right now, because, oh my god, Pokemon fans, you were so mad. You were so mad, Pokemon fans. Whoa, boy. Thank god I don't have to deal with that friggin' minefield. And at least I haven't seen too many instances of, like, big targeted harassment from the Sonic community. We haven't been, like, destroying Aaron Weber's social life or anything like that. At least I don't think so, to my knowledge, you know. I don't believe there have been some real bad apples actually hurting people so far, so I don't know. I think you should like Sonic regardless what the fans are like. I think ignoring the fans and treating them as something else entirely is healthy, honestly, because it's hard, you know. I don't want to be associated with what the fandom does with Sonic. The fandom is one thing. I like Sonic because it's a fun kid platformer game, and that's it, you know. I'm not looking for... And also I like the stories and the characters. I know there's a lot to like, obviously. But I am not defined by the Sonic fandom. I do not consider myself a Sonic tuber. Don't call me that, you assholes. How dare you if you call me that. But, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. That's all I got. That's all I got. Kelso, the Sarcasm Pirate, quite the name, asks, how do you feel about the true Chad Sonic character, Metal Sonic? For some reason, he's my favorite character, and I really want to know what you think about him outside of just the games. Metal Sonic's cool. You know, he's just evil Sonic who doesn't talk, who's scary and menacing. That's cool. I feel like he got the best characterization in Sonic Heroes when they actually explained that he thinks he is Sonic, or at least he thinks he wants to replace Sonic and show that he's the real Sonic. I thought that was an interesting development that I wish would have stuck with. But, you know, he's a silent killer, and that's all he needs to be. Sometimes you just need a cool villain that Eggman dusts out every now and then, and that's fine. I don't think he's a particularly amazingly deep character, but he's cool. He's good. He's good. Just, they need to stop overusing him, that's all. Prince Watercress asks, have you seen any of the more exotic real-life versions of any of the animals that serve as inspiration for the Sonic characters in real life, especially echidnas? I've never seen an echidna in person. I have seen cats, obviously. Blaze and Big are not that special in our real world. One time I left my house and there was a fox on my front yard. Yeah, there was a fox on my front yard, and I was like, oh boy. Oh boy. And then it like darted off as soon as it saw me, and it ran into the woods, because I live near the woods, and I was like, whoa! It didn't have two tails, but I did see a fox on my front yard, so that was kind of fun. Bees, Charmy Bee. I see bees all the time. My friend has a pet rabbit that I always see every time I go over to his house. Hi, Turbo. So like Cream the Rabbit, I've seen plenty of rabbits. I have seen a flying squirrel when I was in the woods. That was pretty fun. That was pretty neat. And, yeah. I have not seen a hedgehog or anything. I've never actually seen them in person, surprisingly. But, I don't get out much. I'm a loser. Anywho. Mokukage asks, that's what I think that's how you pronounce it, what are your thoughts on the Sonic/Mega Man comic book crossover? Amazing! Brilliant! It was the best thing ever. I was so happy with it. It was exactly what I would want from a Sonic Mega Man crossover. Like, even the little moments where, like, Mega Man is, like, hopping between those reappearing, disappearing blocks, and he gets to the top of the waterfall, and then Sonic tries to do it, and he can't do it as effectively as Mega Man, and Tails is like, hey, do you want help? I could, like, just lift you up here. And Sonic's like, no, no, no. If Mega Man could do it, I can do it. The bromance between Dr. Wily and Dr. Eggman, for as short-lived as it was fantastic, and I couldn't think of a better combination of characters. You know, it was such a good freaking comic. It was well written. They did some fun stuff with the characters, and that was a match made in heaven as a Mega Man Sonic fan. What a perfect crossover. That was amazing. They could make an animated movie out of that, and I'd be so happy. So, yeah. Nick Pacheco asks, what's your favorite moment from the Sonic franchise? Could be cutscene, set piece during a level, etc. The opening of Sonic Unleashed is pretty hard to top, honestly. I think that was some of the best CG, the orchestral music that's going on in the background, Sonic running around the airship, taking out all of those egg fighters, dodging a whole bunch of gunfire, Eggman jumping into his Eggmobile, getting in there to, like, slam him and grab him and shit, and then he turns into Super Sonic, and oh my god, that is, like, the ultimate potential of what a Sonic movie could be, you know? Forget that fucking James Marsden movie that's coming out with Jim Carrey and stuff. No. We need that on the big screen. We need something that's like the Sonic Unleashed opening, because that is insane. That is incredible. I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, wow. And this was after, like, 06 happened, so I was kind of disillusioned with the franchise, and that was like, whoa, that was a big step in pulling me back in. I was just like, Jesus Christ, that was amazing. So the Sonic Unleashed opening, probably the best thing that's ever happened in Sonic. Clover Shroom asks, would you like Cream the Rabbit to be a playable character again, and if she was, would you like her to have a super form? Yes, I'd like to have her come back as a playable character again. As for her super form, I think she's too young. I think she's 6 years old. She can't tap into that energy. But you know who should? Cheese the Chow. Cheese the Chow should turn yellow and should zip around the screen the way Super Sonic does in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Yeah, that's what I think. Cheese the Chow should have a super form. Cream the Rabbit, not so much. That's what I think. Logan Spajewski asks, out of all the games, which do you want to see completely remade from the ground up the most, and why? I don't necessarily want Sonic games to be remade, honestly. I know it's a weird, because it's like, I like plenty of remade games. I like Metal Gear Solid, the Twin Snakes. I enjoyed Resident Evil 2's remake not too long ago. I'm looking forward to Final Fantasy VII's remake. Oh my god, that looks amazing. I wasn't excited for it like 2 years ago. I'm excited for it now. Jesus Christ. But, I'm a big video game preservationist guy, and I do feel weird when, like, games get remade and then the old version becomes obsolete. Because it's like, it's hard to talk about Resident Evil 2 Classic, because now it's like, well, there's a better version of Resident Evil 2 now. We don't need Classic Resident Evil 2 anymore. We don't need to look at Crash Bandicoot on the PlayStation 1 anymore, because we have the Insane Trilogy now. We don't need to look at the old Spyro games. We have the nitro-fueled... Or was that the kart game from Crash? Reignited Trilogy. That's what it was. I don't want remakes of Sonic games. I don't want any of them to be remade. I don't see the point in it, you know? I feel like, leave them alone. They're fine. They're fine. Of course, like I said before, if any game... If you're going to remake a game, make it a bad one. And if you're going to remake a bad one and do it right... Then friggin' Sonic Chronicles, Dark Brotherhood, because I want a good Sonic RPG. That's what I want. I want a good Sonic RPG. Free Time Chill Time asks, if Sonic and Knuckles were homosexual, which out of the two do you think has bottom energy? Sonic, easily. Knuckles is a top, come on. And kids, if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't ask your parents. You're gonna have a very awkward conversation. I'm sorry. Pokeplayer HQ asks, is there any Sonic game where your opinion of it has changed over time? Sonic Riders. Sonic Riders. I didn't like Sonic Riders at first. I thought the controls were so clunky. I was having such a hard time playing it. I thought that it was too short. I thought that... There's something about it just didn't rub me the right way. But the more I played Sonic Riders, and the more I got used to how to take shortcuts and how to play the game, it became so much more fun for me that I actually really enjoy playing that game. And I love Sonic Riders. I like that game quite a bit, even though I can understand why other people wouldn't. I don't blame you if you think Sonic Riders sucks. I get it. I get it. I don't blame you at all. Steel Joe 1120 asks, do you plan on making Let's Plays or thought videos on any future Sonic releases as they come out? Absolutely. I probably might wait 2 or 3 weeks just so I can get used to the game myself, but I'm not going to be done with Sonic when I catch up. Like, whatever comes out after Mario and Sonic at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, because that's the final game right now, I'm still going to look at it. I'm still going to do a playthrough of it, S-ranks and all that stuff. I just want to get my hands on it first, you know? I want to get used to it, and I want to see if I like it, first off. Some games I don't like at all, and then I don't want to do a playthrough of them, like Sonic Chronicles. But yeah, I'm still going to be covering Sonic games in the future. This is not over. Don't worry. I am still covering the franchise after this retrospective has concluded. It's just, you know, we're reaching the final game, and when I reach the final game, there's nothing to play. So I have to wait for Sega to make more Sonic games. That's all. D Prototype asks, Clement, what are your thoughts on the IDW Sonic comics so far? It's great. The writing is fantastic. The art is fantastic. I love the new characters of like Tangle and Whisper and stuff. The zombie plotline that they're doing is pretty weird and unorthodox for a Sonic, you know, experience. But I think that's been pretty awesome right now. You know, it's fun. I like the IDW Sonic comics quite a bit. And again, I feel like the writers of that comic should be writing the games right now. It is so fantastic, and you should be checking it out yourself. You know, if you haven't been checking it out. But, yeah. And it looks like this might be the final question. Sweet Cinnamon Bean, what is your favorite type of special stage and your least favorite type? My favorite special stage is in Sonic Mania. No way! No way! It's true, Trophy! It's true! So I got no way for getting all of the gold medals. I got all the gold medals for y'all. And so we unlocked a whole bunch of bonus features. Sonic's ability from Sonic 3 and K, the Insta-Shield, unlocked. We can do anything! Toot Toot Sonic Warrior, debug mode. Mean Bean is now unlocked. That wasn't just a boss fight. You can play Mean Bean. Jammin' DA Garden. That's the sound test. Oh yeah. No way. Blue Spheres is now unlocked. A whole extra set of blue spheres to do. And for some reason I didn't get the pop off for the peel out move, which is in Sonic CD. So now Sonic can do the peel out, and that's a thing that I also unlocked. As well as and Knuckles mode, which I'll be showing off in another extra video coming out. But yeah, folks, those were all the special stages. I got all the gold medals for you just to show you that I could do it. And now you know how to do it in case you're trying to do it yourself. But I will finish the thought of this question that I got. Sweet Cinnamon Bean asks, what's your favorite type of special stage and your least favorite type? Mania's easily was the best. I love Mania's special stage so much. It's what I want more of. Chasing the UFOs and collecting all those blue spheres and rings. That is so fun. Easily my favorite special stage that has ever existed. And the least favorite would be Sonic Lost World for the 3DS, because the motion-controlled gyro stuff makes me want to hurl, and it's terrible, and I still have never gotten all 7 Chaos Emeralds, and I don't think I ever will. So yeah, I did have a whole bunch of questions listed down here. I didn't know how long it would take me to get through all of them in 50 minutes, so I apologize if I didn't get to your question. I just wanted something to talk about for this Blue Sphere, you know, list, and thank you for sending in your questions, everybody. I hope that was insightful for you. I hope that helped a little bit, but yeah. But yeah, folks, that was the Blue Sphere Gold Medal video, and come back next time as I look at all the extra features that Sonic Mania has to offer, and there are a lot of them. Until then,